Okay. So we're kind of 1 past 7 already. So let's slowly begin because I can start with the introduction. Hello from my side. I'm Bastian from Team Draw.io. I do have a fancy title, but most or more or less, I'm with the customer success team here at Draw.io. That's the introduction already. I don't have a presentation so far for today because what was important to us or to me is that we deal a lot with hands-on parts as we are talking about how you can improve your performance using diagramming and Draw.io in specific when you are using when you're walking inside the Atlassian ecosystem. So no presentation today, but we are going to have an FAQ session afterwards. So it will be approximately plus minus 30 minutes of me presenting, and then we can have a chat afterwards. You can always feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I will try to answer them right away. If I overlook them, nothing will, I won't forget. So we deal with them in the end, and maybe then we just jump back to where the question arrived. Yeah, I would say let's just start. One more, there's my cheat sheet, by the way. One more thing that I'd like to mention here is this webinar is a result of a blog post campaign that we just did on healthcare. So don't worry, I will share after our webinar, I will share the blog post links. I will share all of the YouTube links that accompanied the blog posts. And of course, you will also get a link to this recording here so you can rewatch it. And maybe if you try to, get into some stuff that we did here and you didn't quite get along and try to also adapt to your Confluence instance and Draw.io instance, then we're just going to do that. Yeah, but now let's start. And I would love to start with a poll at the beginning to just see, because I do have a slight feeling on how you guys out there are familiar with diagramming or not. But I'd like to know, because then if I know the results, I also know how to keep on with the webinar. Maybe I get, if nobody says I am familiar with diagramming, then I might also kind of explain a little bit more about the fundamentals of Draw.io. And on the opposite hand, on the other hand, if everybody says I'm a diagramming pro already and I know Draw.io, then of course we can skip all of that. So I'm very curious. Oh, and I didn't publish it, but I did it now. Sorry, I forgot to hit the button. But now you're free to click. And I'm curious what you guys will tell me. I don't have any answers so far. Okay. So I see that there are also a couple of answers. Familiar with diagramming, but not worked with Draw.io yet. That's also very good to know. Also new to diagramming. Okay. So I will try to cover. I expected kind of a healthy ratio, let me put it this way. So I will try to kind of try to cover everything, or at least we don't have, in 30 minutes, we don't have the full set, but I will try to do my best. So what's the goal of this webinar? The goal of this webinar, and this is the last thing that I say before I share my screen. The goal of this webinar is, I always remember, and I'd like to tell a story now, and that's a true story. My dad used to be in the healthcare sector for almost 50 years before he retired. And I always asked him, like, what are you doing for a living? So what do you do on a day-to-day basis? And he always said, most of the time, I really deal like improve our performance, be more efficient. So I do have more time to care about people. And this is what kind of, I remembered that when I prepared this webinar, because I think what our goal or our kind of what we have to provide to you is be more efficient with the tools that you have, be more efficient through diagramming, with diagramming. So in the end, you can do what matters most, having more time for patients, having more time for your job in healthcare. So this is why, and now I have to look at my cheat sheet again, we said, together we'll discover how to enhance healthcare diagramming and ultimately improve patient care. So of course, we are not going to improve you caring for your patients, but we make you, or we allow you to gain time through diagramming. So that's the goal for today. We want you to leverage your performance using draw.io. And that's the last thing. Before I share my screen, one thing, or maybe I can already share my screen. Nothing holds me back doing this. You now see, or you now should see my, no, that's the wrong one. Let me have a quick view. The window's changed. Okay, this is my conference page here. And so far, this conference page only consists of blank text. So what we want to do today is we want to tell you or show you how you can use diagramming to enhance this text, to make sure that you can transport information much easier. And this is one very important thing to me, and you will see it in the following minutes. I want to show you how you can be more efficient using draw.io, save some time, don't have to repeat steps over and over again. So what I did, and you don't see that now, but this is just a little bit, the last part of the introduction. I used AI to create a fictional healthcare organization, which is called Health Mode. And Health Mode will guide us through the process, because for me, it was important that you have a real life example to see how you can, for example, also customize draw.io, because customization is a key to save time doing diagramming. And we will also discover AI by using draw.io, while using draw.io. So that's the last thing. So let's jump right into it. So like I said, this is our conference page. And to add a draw.io diagram here, we just go into the edit mode of the conference page and search for blank spot and insert the draw.io macro. So I either do this by typing /draw, or you can also click on the plus sign up above here and you just enter draw, and then you get the same 3 options. But over time, me personally, I always use the / opportunity. You see that you have 2 different kinds of editors here, and I will show you both editors while showing you the real life example of our company Health Mode. We start with a draw.io diagram. And that's already the first spot where I like to tell you how you can improve your daily work. Because you can start with a blank diagram. Most people do that because most of the time we once analyzed that I think between 80 and 90% of our customers really start from scratch because they have a very unique use case. But the thing is, they also have use cases where you only have something like a framework and you build on top of that framework. The classic example would be like a SWOT analysis or a sales funnel. In this case, we created, using our Health Mode example, we created a couple of custom templates that you can create inside of our draw.io. So customization is a big plus here. So we had one example for risk management, or one example for change management. And if you do have a change management process in place, and we just do that right now. So we take this one and we say, this is our change management. You should type it right. Change management template. We select it and we create it. And there you go. So I decrease the size a little bit. This is our, and by the way, this here is our logo for our company Health Mode. So you can also insert your watermark. And for this thing here, for this example, we do have change management. And we can right away try to enhance this thing. So you can just start typing. It's just a blank template. You can write whatever you want. You can just recolor everything here. So you may now wonder, why do I start with this kind of an example? Shouldn't I show you how to create diagrams from scratch? Don't worry, I will do in a second. But the thing is, as we start with a template manager, I wanted to show you that the template manager itself can already help you just getting to your goal, and which is, if you want to create a change management diagram, do so and just enhance the text and you're ready to go. Saved some time again. So we're going to publish that right now, and I'm going to show you something else, because I told you, and by the way, now you see that this diagram has been added to your conference page. So before that, it was just by the way, it's really random text. Before that, it was just text. Now you have a powerful visualization. If this is your conference page about your knowledge management, your knowledge about change management, you can add a change management process here, and you can immediately see it and grasp it visually, which is much more powerful than just adding text. But classic diagrams is not the only thing that you can use these templates for. And I show you right away how this can work in our draw.io board editor. So our draw.io board editor can be used as a classic whiteboard. And here you have to click, to go this way. We select our templates, but this time, and you see that I also created a custom library for general templates. And here, for example, we do have our template for a classic brainstorming situation. And I insert it now. Again, decrease the size a little. And you see that that's no rocket science what I did here, right? But the thing is, I created a frame for our brainstorming session, and I provided some sticky notes that you can then just duplicate, drag over here, and leave your idea. And if I have several ideas and I realize that these ideas kind of belong together and that they are kind of connected, you can do exactly this. You can leave some hints like hello, which is probably not a part of a classic brainstorming situation, but this is the thing I can draw the best. Believe me, my handwriting is not the best one, but I learned how to write hello, and that's fine. So that's our second editor, our whiteboarding editor, which is more for kind of creating ideas, be creative, be agile in group situations, collaborate on ideas, and how collaboration works, we will show you in a couple of minutes. The other editor I showed you before is more like the diagram editor, which you probably will use the most. Let me quickly provide a name for this one. And this is where we're going to get into detail now. So let me really quick have a look at my cheat sheet again. The third option, how to save time. I told you that, oh, sorry, hit the wrong key. I told you that the topic AI will kind of be our pal again during this presentation, and that's the right time now. So again, our template manager. And you see that we have the option Smart Template here. And our Smart Template says we use AI, so ChatGPT will create a diagram for us. And I do have created a diagram before, and I just copy the text real quick. So I copied it, and you know that I now like to create a 5-tier sequence diagram on getting an online appointment, or once blank space. Too much, an online appointment at a local doctor. And I say, I want to have a sequence diagram, and I hit generate. To say it upfront, what will be generated here will need some kind of adjustment. But the cool thing is that, and ChatGPT already came up with an example here, and that looks quite decent. So let's create it. Decrease the size a little bit again. And you see that we do have our example here already. The thing is, I'm missing out where the interaction between the doctor and the rest is. So obviously that was not the best, the best go that ChatGPT had at the sequence diagram. But if you're not satisfied with the result, you can do that over and over and over again. And the cool thing is that everything that has been created here can be adjusted now. So especially when you're creating sequence diagrams and stuff like this, that's very, very valuable, but you can also have pie charts and so on and so on. That's what I wanted to show you to save time, to be more efficient with draw.io, but of course, that's not all. So you can have templates, either custom templates or AI-driven templates, but there's also another option. And to do this, I will delete everything that you can see here and pretend that we are just starting from scratch. And I always like to deactivate the page view so we have an infinite feeling of a canvas. So for everybody who just answered to the poll, like I am new to diagramming, this is the diagramming editor as it will come to you when you open draw.io for the first time. For you, it's important that on the right-hand side, it's always your formatting options. On the left-hand side, it's always your shape options. So if you just want to start, you can either, and let's just do it right now, you can either just drag and drop a shape to your canvas. You can also click on the shape to add it to your canvas. Then as you can see, it will always be added to the center of the canvas. And if you are just try to build a very quick example, you can also double click on the drawing area to get one of the shapes or to select one of the 20 shapes from our most common used objects and select just one of these. You see that you can immediately start typing. Also, if I add it like this, so you don't need to kind of double click, you can do that right away. And if you want to add another shape, you can use these connection arrows to also use one of the core elements, or you click on the connection arrow to use one of these 20 elements, 16, sorry, or you can use any of our shapes in our library. So you just click to expand them. And let's just take the heart, and you just drag and drop them on the blue arrows, and they will be connected too. So the way to use this is very intuitive. And you can also, if you realize that the circle you wanted to use is not the one, is not the right one, you want to have the donut. Everybody loves donuts, me included. You just take it, you drag and drop it, or you hover it over this shape unless you see this replacement symbol. And then there you go. So creating a diagram is very easy. If you select one shape, you can color your shapes in. Like I said, you can provide text. We do have the option to have multiple tabs inside a diagram. This is something that I will provide a link to afterwards because it's not the core of this webinar, but you can use these tabs to kind of create an interactive diagram where you link between all of these tabs. And then later on the conference page, you can link one shape to one tab, link it back again. So you can create something like a big picture, and you have sub-processes. You can link to these sub-processes page and link it back again. So that's a pretty cool thing to also visualize your processes. But again, not a core topic of this webinar, so I just want to mention it. Now, where is your potential to improve your work with Draw.io and to be more efficient? The thing is, and this is what I like to point out today, is when you create your, for example, workflows. Workflows is the most common example. When you do this, you will from time to time realize that there are objects that you use over and over again, maybe entire branches that you use over and over again. So therefore, there's the option inside of Draw.io to create or to use your Scratchpad. Your Scratchpad is your individual shape library, and you see that we already have it up here at the upper left side of your left shape panel. And you can say, this blue activity shape is the one I always use. So you just select it, you hit plus, and now it's part of your Scratchpad. If you say, this is the entire branch that I always use, do the same thing, select everything, hit plus, and everything is here. So going to our still blank page 2, you just click here, or you drag and drop it here, and you insert the entire branch. That's very cool to save time. That's very cool to also stick to, for example, your corporate identity if you have a special design or special custom color codes and stuff like this. But this is your, like I said, your individual library. So everything that you personally need, but not necessarily all of your colleagues inside your organization, you put inside your Scratchpad. But what if you like to have something like a custom library that can be used throughout your organization? Then you can create a custom library. And to create this one, you just go click new library and device. And then you can say our custom library. Now you see that this is part of my left shape panel, and I can do the same here. Like I selected this branch again. Now I also add this shape again. And you can also say that this is my custom activity to have some kind of metadata. So you can also search for your shapes through the shape search that you see at the top left. After you did this, this library will be accessible for everybody in your organization. And how this look like, and I just kind of, that we won't get distorted, I close our custom library here and I collapse the Scratchpad. I will show you how this can look like, getting rid of all of this. Because if you click at more shapes and you scroll down to the bottom, you see that I already created a custom library where I did exactly what I just showed you. I created a custom library and I added shapes to it. And if you click at it, you can see what is inside your custom library. And you can, if you like it, you can just set the check mark and hit apply. And now you see that here we do have a couple of things. For example, these are the AI generated logos that I had for my organization. So I have a white logo, a black fonts on white, or white font on black, or a yellow logo that I can just add. And this is very cool. If you have something like a logo set inside your company, you can have this as part of your custom library and always use it. You can even have, like I said, entire branches, entire templates, part of a diagram that you have inside your diagram to save a lot of time, because you just have to click it and then you can immediately start working with it. And what I kind of forget before, because I did not look at my cheat sheets, sorry for that. If you, and I hit more shapes again, if you like to, because I did not activate the flowchart library. And the flowchart library is more or less the use case that everybody starts with. So you can start with a classic start shape, and you hit a couple of activities, maybe 1 or 2. Then you're going to get to a point where you have a decision. The decision means that you're going to have at least 2 opportunities, because the first one, double click on the connector, says you can add text on the connector. So you have a yes and no a branch. And here you can also say, like, you select all of your activity shapes and you color it in. And you might already saw at the beginning that I also created a custom color sheet here, a custom color setting here, a custom color scheme, sorry. So for my company health mode, the dominating colors are yellow and black and gray. So I can also define these color schemes, which you can also define inside your company. And again, all of these links, how you perform this is really easy. And I'm going to show you in a second how this looks like in the back end, how to define it. You could just say, I just color it in. For these colors, I did not define a line color. So you see that the lines now disappear. But you can color it in just as you please. Change the text. As I see, I forgot to provide a white font for the dark color. And this is how you create your flowchart. So what we covered here is that you can also not only customize your library, but you can also customize all of the colors here. You can even customize this kind of color palette. So it's not kind of limited to 8 colors. You can even customize all of this palette here, but not talking too much about colors, because there's way more that I like to deal with you. So we published this one now. And I talked about collaboration at the very beginning. And now I like to show you, and my colleague Jan is with me on the call as well. And he will also be in this diagram that I already prepared. And we like to show you how this can look like. So both of us have the custom library health mode ready here. And I hope that Jan will be with me in a couple of seconds, because then we can show you, and this is an example from one of our blog posts, and we will show you how we do enhance this workflow here together. So he will take care of the yes branch, I will take care of the no branch. The thing is, we had a couple of issues today with our internet, but oh no, there he is. Very cool. So yeah, let's just start and show you how collaborating in draw.io looks like. So you see that my colleague Jan, he has the red cursor. And everything that he does now will also be kind of, if he adds something to the decision shape, and I'm going to add this shape right here. And I'm going to add that if my appointment available, no, if is the patient an existing user, if this is not the case, then direct user to online registration. And you see, while I do this, and I might even tweak this thing a little bit, Jan can keep on enhancing the diagram in his own way, and even can add a couple of more decision shapes. So this is how you can work together with your team. So collaboration is possible inside our diagrams editor and also in our board editor. So I would even say in the board editor, it's a little bit more powerful because there the focus is on creative ideas. My experience that most of the time when you create processes, this is mostly done by 1 or 2 users. But if you're using the board editor, and like you see it here, Jan is keeps on progressing this diagram while I'm just telling you stuff. That can also speed up a lot of things. And yeah, so what is important here, you might ask, because especially when you talk about healthcare, you talk about a lot of sensitive information. And although this is not part of how to use draw.io, we want to address it anyway. The thing is, if I am now going to publish this diagram, and Jan is going to keep on enhancing that. So if I publish the diagram now, there will be a new version of the diagram, which is attached to the conference page. And there's also an attachment history, so a page history, excuse me. So if I click at it, I will see, because we did a couple of things today. So you see there are already 9 versions, and Jan is still working on his version. So by the time that he hits publish, there will be even a 10th version, or version number 10 of this diagram. And here I always see who did what, when. And I can also, if, for example, we did something by mistake, or we kind of changed the process and we want to take a step back, we can just restore these versions. This is very important when you're working inside of healthcare and you, for example, are being audited. Then you always have the opportunity to kind of roll back the entire conference page. If you just want to roll back the draw.io drawing or the draw.io board that you created, we just go back, because there's even another option. And let's see if Jan is still busy. Probably not. Oh, he is. But on the draw.io macro layer, you can also hit File and go to the revision history. And here you can see what we did. And here you can even see it on a visual basis. So you see we started with these 3, this basic setting here, then we kind of enhanced it. So you see the logo came and was added, and you also had the decision shape added. And the current one is that Jan, or that I published it when Jan was busy doing this and that. Once he hits publish, then there will be another version available. So this is very cool if you always want to be on top of things when it comes to have a proof who did what when, and be able to restore it or restore previous versions if necessary. One thing that is probably even more important as we're talking, so the version we're using here is draw.io for Conference Cloud. So we're talking about the Atlassian cloud in general. In previous times, the Atlassian ecosystem was more or less on-premise, so you had full control over your service because everything was stored behind your firewall. More and more people are using cloud services, software as a service. And this, of course, also says that you don't have full control over your hosting anymore. So, like I said, if you are in healthcare, you're dealing with sensitive data. And we at draw.io can assure you that we are providing, or we even exceed the standards that Atlassian wants us to fulfill. So Atlassian says that all apps must meet data residency, so that everything is stored inside of Confluence. All of the stuff that you create inside of Confluence Cloud, inside of draw.io for Confluence Cloud, is stored as an attachment of your Confluence page. How does that look like? By the time that you create or embed a macro on the page, and you hit, you will work inside your browser. There will be no connection to one of our servers. When you hit save or publish of the diagram, it will be saved to your Confluence page. And if you would like to re-edit it, it will be opened from the Confluence page to your browser again, and there's no connection. There are a few exceptions when, for example, it comes to collaborative editing or the smart templates that I showed you with AI. But you have the opportunity, and therefore you need a third, an external server. But this external server is stored in the same data center as your Atlassian Cloud instance is running. And you even have the opportunity to kind of block these services, to limit all of your endpoints to your browser and your Confluence instance. Nevertheless, we always tell our customers, please be aware, don't add any sensitive people-related data in your diagram. But even if you do, your data is safe with draw.io. And I will, of course, you will probably now ask, is there detailed information? Yes, there is. And we will also share that with you after the webinar when we send the email to you. There will be a link on data residency and data governance. So yeah, security and privacy. The last thing, and this is kind of a teaser because we can't cover that because we're already 2 minutes over. I'm sorry, over time. But my colleague, Emily, she wrote a brilliant article, blog article about using draw.io and Confluence together with soft comply, excuse me. So using Confluence, the app of the vendor, soft comply, and draw.io to even kind of build up a quality management system. So your single source of truth, where you can, for example, meet your CFR in the US or your ISO standards or requirements, and use Confluence as your knowledge management tool to reach these requirements and to meet them. So this is more or less what I wanted to show you in the 30 minutes that we had today. And I'm really, really curious about your questions because we still have, like, now it's our time to discuss and to ask questions. And I can show you stuff inside the tool if you have specific things that you would like to know. I see that there was no question asked in the chat. I always had an eye on it, but I was kind of nervous that I might overlook it. But now it's your time, and I'm here for a couple of minutes, and would love to answer your questions, if you please, if you wish. If you don't have any questions so far, of course, you can also ask them afterwards. When we send you our email with all these links that I already mentioned, there will also be a link in it to also book a personal demo with me if you do have specific questions that you might not want to ask in public because there is maybe some sensitive data involved. But you can also book a personal demo if you like. So if you would like to use this way or like to address it that way with a public question inside our chat, feel free to do it now. If you don't, then I guess this is already it. I will wait for another 30 seconds. And if no question arrives, I would wish all of the people in North America a cool rest of the day. And for all the people watching in Europe, good night. Okay, no more questions coming in. Then take care, guys, and may the force always draw with you, as we used to say at draw.io. Bye-bye.